Hey everyone, welcome back to Go Together, Go Far. Today's video might be a little more serious. We're going to talk about my top bug out bag essentials for 2020. So today's video, we're going to talk about my top bug out bag essentials for 2020. Before I get into all that though, I do want to ask you to subscribe so you can continue getting some of this content we're making. Don't forget to send in your questions. If we use them in a video, we'll send you a sticker. We got one of those coming up shortly. And as always, I put links to my affiliate accounts below, not only for equipment that I've purchased on Amazon that I actually use, but there's also some other interesting links that I put down there that if you want to read a little bit about some of the things that preppers do, it's down there. With that said, let's talk about why we're talking about bug out bags. This is not just because of the recent virus outbreaks, coronavirus and COVID-19. This bug out bag, the way I have this packed, it's really more set up for in case of an emergency with my family, right? So if we have to go somewhere, it's got stuff in here that I need. In addition to that, because we do a lot of camping and hiking, I actually have packed this thing full of emergency equipment that's useful for rescue and self-rescue and alerting people to where you're at in location. And we'll go over some of that. In addition to, once I'm done with that, I'll show you a couple other items that I think are actually really useful to have in your house. With that said, let's go ahead and get to the demo. All right, so I'm going to start by kind of taking you around the outside of this bag on what I have in it. I have some empty pockets that I'm still waiting to fill with stuff, but I'll show you what I do have and how it can be used. Many of these items are actually the kind of things you would want to be carrying, particularly if you're backpacking or camping, or you do a lot of primitive camping. I definitely recommend some of these items. So let's take a look. So first of all, first aid kit. This is not a particularly fancy first aid kit. This one here is pretty off the shelf with small bandages, band-aids, and some gauze. But it's easy access. It helps for cuts and scrapes, and it's easy to get to. Second, if you look up here in this smaller pouch, I have two items. One is just kind of a standard Swiss Army knife. It's got all of your typical things on it. And then this one here is a can opener. This is the kind of old school, small, lightweight can opener in case you need that. If you look down in this bigger pouch, duct tape. Gotta have duct tape. A lighter. Work gloves. And some rope, some nylon rope, in case you need that. So, turn this around a little bit. In this pouch here, two quick access silent sticks. These are the kind you break and shake up and gives you some kind of chemical light. And then probably the first interesting piece of equipment here is this. So this is not only an AM/FM radio that you can listen to, but it's a flashlight. It's also an alarm, and I'll show you that in a second. And it's both rechargeable and hand crank. So you can actually hand crank it to power it. Apparently the radio is on. It takes headphones if you need to be quiet. And like I said, it's got an alarm. So if you turn the alarm on and you crank it, you're going to hear the alarm. So it doesn't take much if you need rescue or services of some kind. I would definitely be using this. This is super useful for not only bug out bags and things that you'll probably never use, but if you're a backpacker or a hiker or a primitive camper and you kind of go out, I would definitely recommend one of these in case you need it. So, all right, so now I'm going to turn this thing around. I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit so you can get a better view of what I keep inside this bag. All right, now that you saw what's going on the outside, let's take a look at what we have going on the inside. First thing I have, that you want to be able to access in here is a larger first aid kit. If the one that does the basic cuts and scrapes isn't cutting it, in here is the more robust medical stuff. So you have bigger bandages, more tape, those type of materials. Those on there. Next thing, I have 4 of these. These are life straws. So if you haven't seen these before, I recommend having a couple on hand. So life straws, they generally run about $20 plus or minus a little bit. Check the Amazon links below for current pricing. But these allow you to basically drink some water from some pretty contaminated water fairly safely. So I carry 4 of these. I have my wife and 2 kids. I have some more Xylem sticks in case we need those. And then probably what I think is probably one of the most valuable pieces of equipment. So this here, try to get nice and close to the camera, is a Voyager radio. This is a multi-purpose radio. I'll put links to this below. I got this off Amazon. This is, I think, one of the things that everybody should have. Like I said, it's multi-purpose. So first and foremost, it's an NOAA weather radio, which has all kinds of benefits, with tornadoes or, storms. That's nice to have. So it's got weather, AM, FM bands, and then kind of power controls over here, and then you can tune everything over here. What I find particularly nice about this is that it is hand crank. So if you need to charge with the hand crank because you're out of power, you have that ability. And even in a severe thunderstorm or tornado situation, like recently down in Tennessee, this could be helpful. On the back here, it actually also is solar. So if you're outside and you can get solar, that will help power it for you. And it's battery powered as well, so you can charge it. If you do have power and you still need this, you can charge it via the normal plugs. And you also have a USB out, which will allow you to charge your phones and cell phones and whatever you have. And the nice thing about this is, so not only can you charge this with the crank, if you then end up needing that to charge your cell phone, you now have that ability, or to charge it with solar. If you get anything, it should be this. This makes me feel safer at night knowing that if I ever need this, I'll have access to this. All right, moving on. So now we're getting into the stuff that I think we need, and it's good for a bug out bag. It is a little bulkier. This is purified emergency drinking waters. This is the kind of water that they put on life rafts, and it stores for years. So the advantage of this is its shelf life, I believe, is 5 years, and I think on this one was stamped October of 2017. It's good for a couple more years. My gut says it's probably going to be good for more than 5 years. So it's a little heavy, but it's worth it because you need it. In this container, it's also soft. So if it's up against your skin or it's in a backpack, it's not going to be rubbing up against you like something that's a little more hard, like a plastic bottle. So get some of that. Also, this is emergency food rations, kind of from the same principle. This is also the type of rations that this is Coast Guard approved for life-saving craft. This is what they store on life raft. This is not tasty. It's not delicious. There are 3 bars in here. You can kind of see the shape of them. The package, if you can't read it, the package basically says there's 9 servings per package. So each one of these bars is basically 3 servings, and each serving is 410 calories. So about 1,200 calories a bar. In the emergency situation, right, the water's probably a little more important. If you get to the point of need, this is all you have, trust me, you'll take it. So I have 2 packages of that, again, primarily because I have kids. But my thought process is I have emergency water with the kids if we ever really have to go anywhere really fast. If I don't even have time to get to this, I have life straws available. And if for some reason I have no other food available, that we have something. Last couple items in here that are probably less critical for a true emergency, but this is some toiletries, toilet paper, and there's some toothbrushes and stuff in there. More water storage with iodine, I believe, tablets for water purification. And finally, more emergency products, and this is basically an emergency tube tent, heat blankets and ponchos and some hand warmers, kind of all down here in the bottom. So in the event that you do get trapped outside, you actually have. So there you go. There's all of the things that I keep in my bug out bag. Don't go anywhere. I want to show you a couple more items that are not in the bug out bag that I think you're going to want to keep and keep on hand, at least at your house. Stay with me. All right, so we spent some time talking about the bug out bag. And the bug out bag is for use when it's a real emergency and you have to go somewhere, right? So I'm going to talk about 3 more items real quick that I think are fantastic if you need them for other type of emergency situations. First is more reliable drinking water. So these pouches, they're basically the same kind of pouch that I showed you earlier, but you can buy them by the box. These, again, have a 5-year shelf life. Pick some of that up. Again, that came from Amazon, links below. This is a standard 72-hour kind of food kit. You can pick this up at, I think I got this one at Costco, right? So pick up one of these. This has, again, additional food if you need it. Like, this is not useful for a bug out bag purposes because actually I think my handle even broke. But if you're staying put for a while, or you're going to a cabin or something like that, this is great. Again, a lot of these though, they're relatively light. They don't have any water in them, so you're going to need water with these to cook and rehydrate a lot of this food. So again, water is probably one of your primary things. Finally, and this is less critical, but if you're staying put for a while and you may not be able to run out for food, or it's inconvenient for food, past few years or a few years ago, my wife has taken up canning and jarring. We are not doing this for prepping purposes. We are doing this for health and eating fresher food. But it does have this secondary benefit that we have a number of shelves in our basement of summertime fresh vegetables and canned peaches, and she's got preserves and a bunch of other things that in the event that we need, readily available food, we literally can just unscrew these and start eating. I don't need can openers. I don't need anything. That's a great option. A little more time consuming, but it also has a whole other series of benefits.